This is where we're going today. We started off over here in Hawthorne, came down here past Luning and Minot on US 95 South, broke off on Highway 360. Then there's a cutoff to the ghost town of Marietta over here by Teels Marsh. Now, this is about 18 miles to the California state line in Nevada. You can also see where Tonopah is located as a reference. Here's a closer map where you can see the Excelsior Mountains to the north. Here's Marietta. There's the Teels Marsh. This whole area is a wild burro preserve. However, we did not see any burros while we visited the area, but we did see a lot of tracks. This is where you break off from Highway 360, right along here. There's that big hill, which is right in here, and you drop into the valley. And there's Marietta. And then this is where we did some climbing up in here. We're breaking off from US 95 and catching Highway 360, which can take you eventually to Bishop. Bishop is 75 miles from here, and we're still in Mineral County, Nevada. We're glad you're with us today, Kelly. And it's a lot funner when you come along.
Yeah, we do have fun together.
Yeah. I'm not going to take as many risks as I do when I'm by myself, though.
Well, you should take a risk no matter what.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Anyway. But at least I kept that creek crossing where I fell off my bicycle in the half-frozen creek. I was keeping it real, keeping it real. Things happen. Here's the turnoff. It even has a sign, Marietta, 9 miles. The road does have a lot of washboard on it, so you can't really go as fast as you want comfortably in a passenger car. As you can see, the road's a little bit rocky. It's got a lot of washboard on it. So if you're going to take your passenger highway car on this road, just keep your speed down and just be careful, and it should be all right. Look at that valley opening up, Kelly. Isn't that
Pretty.
cool? Huh?
Yeah.
So Kelly, when was the last time you were in this area?
Oh, it was a long time ago. I was a teenager.
You were a teenager at the time?
Yeah.
You can definitely see the playa with the salt marsh on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That must be Teels Marsh.
Yeah, Teels Marsh. It's easy to see Teels Marsh in the distance. It's in that area that's a lighter color. It looks like a playa. And then Marietta's to the right. It's chilly this morning. It's only 25 degrees. We're coming up on Marietta. That's a big rock wall, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it looks like it might have been all connected because there's like a door right there.
Right, right. Look at this one ruin. It's still got the doorway with the lintel on top.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting. Let's go take a closer look.
Okay. You can see how what the height of this door is. It's probably maybe a root cellar or something like that.
Well, they're just ruins now. This particular one. It's kind of hard to walk in here too. There's lots of tumbleweeds and brush. We're doing our best to cover it. There's another doorway. This is the inside of the building at one point. There's some of the walls that still remain at the ruins, the ghost town. Look, Kelly, there's a cemetery in the distance.
Yeah, I see some crosses over there in the distance.
Right by that wall to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big structure. Yeah. Look, it goes on back in there a little bit.
I'm gonna walk around.
Yeah, let's walk around. Quite a tall wall that stood the test of time. Very interesting. Impressive looking. The town seems a lot bigger than what I was expecting, and it's really spread out.
Yeah.
It's got some very large structures. You can tell because of the bases where all the stones were. You can tell how big the buildings were.
Yeah.
Especially this one.
And you can tell this is very old in this area.
Yes. Look at that. The wall's leaning, it's got an angle to it, but it's still standing after all this time. Those stones have weathered the passage of time. Glad they've got that mine shaft covered up, aren't you?
Yes, I don't want to fall into it.
Let's go check that out up in the distance.
Looks like there was once a building here too. There's bricks and rocks everywhere.
That's the road we came in on in the distance.
Okay.
Look, there's another big hole.
Yep, there is.
I'm glad they've got them all fenced off.
Me too.
Especially of us walking around up here. We're being very careful though. Look at that one in the distance. Let's go check that one out.
And look at those up there on that hill.
Oh yeah, on the mountain.
Yeah.
Where it's like green. There's something up there.
Yeah, there definitely is a structure of some sort.
These walls are just stacked stone. There's no mortar whatsoever. They're just fitted. Look at that. Pretty nice angle. That's definitely some type of mining structure up there on the hill.
It'll be interesting to see what it's made of.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure it's not on private property. But there'll be a sign there if it is.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, so we'll go as far as we can go. We decided to go on a short little hike up the side of the mountain to get some exercise in. We're gonna walk across the desert to the side of the mountain, right up in that area there. Really interesting claim marker. It's got all the information etched in the solid steel. Look at that.
Look what Douglas found over there. This little piece of a plate, it appears, from England. Somebody must have brought out. He's going to put it back, but we thought it was interesting that he found it out here.
Made pretty good time. We just walked up this wash, dry wash. Well, we've made it up here.
Yes, we did.
Still haven't seen any no trespassing signs. We'll just look around. We see some of these shafts are fenced off for safety. We're glad of that. Probably not as many people come up here because you have to hike up this to get here. Let's see this. Good view of the valley. There's the shaft. Mm-hmm. Kelly found herself a new home outside of the wind.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this into my she shed.
She said she's going to turn it into her shishi shed.
You know, there was a gunfight out here in Marietta. There was a story about 4 men who had some kind of disagreement, and I believe it was over money or mining claims or something like that. And they shot each other, and it went over for a couple of days. Some of them got shot outside, and one of them got shot in a saloon, restaurant kind of thing. But they all died. But it was kind of interesting that it was an actual shootout like in the Old West.
Didn't all 4 people die from their injuries?
Yes, they did. All four men.
You know, I like the view from your new shishi shed. You could do all your crafts and stuff, stay out of the wind, and you could make friends with all the wild burros.
And maybe the pack rats too for
Yeah.
the rest of the place.
Yeah. I don't think this one meets your standards though. You might
No.
have some renovations to do.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a nice view though.
Yes, it is.
This is a really good vantage point to see where Marietta was. It's right in there. There's some modern commercial buildings over here. Didn't you know of a person that was like a caretaker out here that was like it was like one of your dance teachers or something that...
Well, yeah, there was a little bit behind that, but yeah, there was a caretaker out here not too many years ago. I would say less than 20 years ago. I'm not sure exactly what he did out here, but there was a caretaker out here.
And then he needed a relief every so often, and your friends would come out here and relieve him so you could go buy groceries and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind spending a few days out here, but I don't think I'd want to be out here permanent. It's very, very isolated.
Doug poking around in the shed, hoping to find something cool.
You can see where there's a pipe that looks like it goes into some kind of an underground tank. Looks like it's probably all caved in. Let's head on back to Marietta.
Okay.
So originally Marietta, of course, it was a salt and borax mine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
then the owner, known as Borax Smith, he moved the business down to more in the Death Valley area.
yes, a little
And
later in
so
time.
basically by 1900, Marietta was pretty much done.
Right.
But in the 1930s, they actually did some more mining up here for gold and silver. And then in the 50s and 60s, it was gold, silver, and uranium.
Oh, they're always
Yeah, a
hunting
little
for
bit
something.
of uranium. So,
Right.
and you can still see there's some active mining claims in the area. And so this is a very mineral-rich resource area.
Yes, it is.
Marietta was a wild, wild west town back in the day. They had a lot of shootings and all kinds of conflicts in the streets here. And actually in 1880, the stage service, the stagecoach, was robbed 30 times that year. And actually, 1 week in 1880, it was robbed 4 times. We're walking over to the cemetery. This site is very spread out. It's a lot larger than we anticipated, but there was only a few hundred people that lived here during its heyday, and most of them were Chinese workers from China that were working to mine borax and salt. They even used the salt at Virginia City and up at Aurora and over at Bodie. Kelly found some unmarked graves. Here's Perry is the last name. Daniel Brackett. That's recent.
1993.
1993. Chet. These are actually some newer graves out here. 2016. Roger and Evelyn Lovejoy.
Last.
1880. Lest we forget.
Oh, that's what that says.
It's just right on the edge of Marietta. Very close to the ghost town. This one's hardly discernible anymore. Looks like it might be a child there. Look at the pretty stones on this one.
Well, look at all the white crosses. The ones that are still intact are made of steel.
This one from 2009.
Yep.
Here's another one that looks more like a root cellar. It's very small, not very tall.
Little teeny door.
Little small door in the front. That would be very important being this remotely out. When you get your supplies, you got to make sure they don't spoil.
Keep, yeah.
It's cold right now, but in the summertime, you can guarantee this is hot.
Ooh, it is, yeah.
It's almost lunchtime. It's close to noon, so we're gonna walk back to the car. I wonder if this gunfight took place right in here. Did you know there was 13 saloons here at one time?
I can't even imagine
Yeah.
that. And they had a saloon with restaurants and hotels and all that. And I was thinking, what?
Right.
A hotel here?
And that Borax Smith, he had a big store over here too also.
Oh, yeah. Well, they needed supplies. Everybody needed them.
Look at this one, Kelly. I think this is actually an old well.
That probably is, because that's
Yeah.
a big hole.
Yeah,
Straight
it's
down,
narrow
too.
but straight
Kinda
down.
weird.
Look at that.
Gosh, can't really see.
Can't see the bottom of it.
Not from here.
One thing nice about being in the middle of nowhere is that you can have your lunch in the middle of the road. We haven't seen a single vehicle out here today, so. What do we have today, Kelly?
Well, today we're going to have some sandwiches on some homemade bread with a variety of different things that you choose to put on it, and you know, some fruit
raspberries.
and some nuts. And then I made some kind of cookies. They're peanut butter cornflakes. It's an old-fashioned recipe, but it's actually not a cookie. It's more of a candy. My grandson told me they're real good. He likes them.
You know, a lot of viewers want to get your recipes, and they're saying you ought to open your own shop, Kelly's Cookies, and all this stuff. What do you have to say about that?
Well, as far as going to my own shop, I would have to have an inspected kitchen, and I would have to change a lot of things in my life, and I'm not really too interested in doing that.
You got a lot going on as it is.
Yeah, I'm a pretty busy person, and that would not be something I'd be interested in adding on.
Didn't your grandson, didn't his team win the latest basketball game?
Yes, they did.
That was a close game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and they had a great time, and they won. So
he's a good young man. He's picking up piano and guitar, too.
Yep, he is. He's a very active kid.
He's already popular with the girls. He's going to be super popular. These are real interesting. They're Jerusalem artichokes that Kelly grew in her garden. They're really good. The mountain range adjacent to Marietta is called the Excelsior Range, and its highest peak is called Moho Mountain, and it is 8,805 feet. Right near the ghost town of Marietta is Teels Marsh, where is found salt and also, most importantly, borax. And in 1872, F.M. Smith, who became known as Borax Smith, started to mine the borax from this area. And they used mule teams to get the borax out. And it wasn't until he moved the borax operation more towards the Death Valley area that this was a viable business venture until he did that. And then once he moved farther south, and by 1900, the whole town pretty much dried up. So this here is a box of borax, which contains 100% boron. You can even see the mule team on the box here. And boron, you can use it to boost cleaning agents, use it for cleaning. But you can also use boron that's in borax as a fertilizer. So this is a handful of 100% boron that I have. And this as a fertilizer would be enough to fertilize a home vineyard, and not even every year, maybe every 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's called a micronutrient. It doesn't take very much. So it's actually very dangerous if you were to dump a bunch of boron in like a vegetable garden or something. You would have a micronutrient imbalance. It would take many, many years to clear it up. And in Nevada, most soils already have too much boron, but it is a micronutrient. And you can see it doesn't take very much to use as a fertilizer.
What they were intending to be.
Yeah.
Fine if you walk away from all that.
This must be where the caretakers were at.
Yeah.
These buildings.
That one right there.
We're seeing how close we can get to that alkali lake. The road's a little rough in spots, but we think we can get to it. We want to check out this little pool of water in the distance. It looks so alkali, the soil. We see some deer tracks in the alkali on the surface. I wonder if that water's any good in there, Kelly.
I don't know, but I think we can go check it out.
Lots of animal tracks in here. I was kind of concerned that it might be some kind of quicksand or something. We weren't sure if we should come out on this or not, but it looks like it's pretty solid ground all the way to the water. Looks like this might be somewhat of an oasis. If there's a lot of animal tracks, that means they're probably drinking out of this. I see a bird over there too, on the other side. Oh, lots of tracks.
Rock.
Is it ice on it?
Yeah.
It must be good water for the animals though. We saw some little songbirds getting some water here.
Fresh water.
She said it's fresh water. Yeah, just all kinds of animal tracks. There's that little bird again. See him on that hummock? He's getting some water.
Couple of them.
Yeah,
Well, we probably don't go too far from this water.
yeah. These are the burrow tracks right there. You see a lot of tracks that don't see any burrows right now.
Look at these weird little interesting crystals formed all over this. It's odd. It's hard and it's like a salt and it's strange. Kind of cool though.
It's so crunchy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a strange texture.
Kelly, if we get lost, we can just follow our tracks back.
Yeah, we definitely could.
Look how big this is.
Yeah, it is.
And it's considered a marsh,
Yeah, that's what they call it, Teels Marsh.
but this is definitely, this part of it is like a alkali playa of some type.
Yeah, it's not hard enough to, I don't know, I wouldn't want to drive my car.
No, I
on
wouldn't
it.
drive my car in
You
this.
could an ATV pretty easily.
Yeah. But not too many have been out here. We've hardly seen any tracks at all.
Yeah, a few towards the edges.
It's so white and bright, isn't it?
It's very bright out here.
You can hardly see.
Yeah, that's true. You can't see. If you don't have sunglasses, it would be just too much.
Look at this part, Kelly. It's even more texturized,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. It's getting thicker.
Interesting. Look at that up there, how it's really thick formations of that. Kelly and I decided to come out here and check out these formations on the surface. Don't know if it's caused by the wind, but it's really interesting.
Oh, yeah, look at it. It's like mud that's been dried out.
Big sheets of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's going to be hard and crunchy.
Yeah. I wonder if the wind did that or just the way the water dried. That's bizarre.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's just bigger.
Yeah. Look how thick that crust is on that. That's all that borax.
Look at the unusual formations.
Look at this big piece that Douglas has taken off the top.
Everybody, it's sure glad to have Kelly back. So Kelly, how was the beach in Puerto Rico?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was beautiful. The temperature was wonderful. It was just very nice.
It was a very nice wedding, wasn't it?
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, exceptionally nice.
So you had a good time. It's too
Yes,
bad you
I
couldn't
did.
spend a little bit more time. That took a long time to fly over there and back,
Yes,
didn't
it did. That's my only regret is that I didn't spend enough time there.
Yeah. But we're glad to have you back. We want to keep you all to ourselves. That was an interesting adventure today.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that. I always kind of wanted to get out of that area. It was a little different than what I thought. So
I'm glad you're back because my ratings will go up now. Thank you, everybody, for coming along with us, and we'll see you next time.